I just flew in from the Southwest. Too many nights been gone like this, flown like this. I guess I'm just here to do my best. But sometimes I really ain't strong like this, strong like this. Yeah, we been a precious on the scene and they call my name. I forgot DJ got my music cranked up. Everybody screaming, angel fingers, bet that heaven hearing this. And I walk off like I killed it. I was like with a random person. Then that man approached me and said, I got one question for you. What's your motive? Can you tell me something? You ain't really about this life in front, I can tell. Claiming no cap, but I can't capture nothing. Something is getting in the way. Oh, what's your motive? Get you all this. Look what you're holding. Are you really for it? Motive? Get you all this. Claim you're all in. What's your motive? If I hit for the check, so I'm here for the cash. Watching the spirit, I'm moving too fast. Digital dash, replacing my octane, or I'm gonna crash. Without your love, without the understanding that I'm needing. You're the only reason why I'm eating. Been drinking too much milk, I feel depleted. How can I forget to walk with Jesus? Yeah, the devil really got me twisted, but it's my fault that I missed it. Thinking I should have just done business, yo. Yeah, look, I'm trying to be a real true Christian. Relationship, no religion. Relationship, no religion. What's your motive? Can you tell me something?
Hey, Double Double. What's good? How are you? Listen, that song was getting too good. I couldn't stop. I could not stop, okay? I don't even know who that is, but I was hoping and praying he ain't somebody that got copyright strikes. Because I don't want to have to cut it out. But, I started off doing it like that. I'm not always available to go on my laptop, but today is a day that I can go on my laptop. So here I am, late, because I be doing about 50,000 things at one time. Um, yeah, 50,000 things at one time. And sometimes, hey, Watermelon, how you doing? I miss you. Hi. Hi, friend. How you doing? Yeah, doing 50 million things at one time and trying to keep everything in order and intact is a job all by itself. So, hey, forgive me. I'm a little late. I even changed the time because I knew I was going to be late before and still was late. But I had to look at some things before I came on here and start talking. um, as it pertains to what I'm going to talk about. As we know, YouTube is a busy place, and I can't really say that this is concerning YouTube, but I can say that YouTube can definitely learn for what I'm about to talk about. If being a big girl dealing with growing pains. Okay, well, we still have growing pains. We like to grow together still. You can come by and say, hey, y'all. But we don't leave you out regardless. We still be over here like you in the chat, ma'am. Why is my phone making noises? Because I'm not on it. Yeah, but I was challenged yesterday actually to make a video about being swallowed. We all done had fun with the being swallowed since the good bishop, whatever. So we all done had a time with the little swallowed memes going around. And yeah, so atmosphere, if you are in the bushes, you need to drop in here. But yeah, atmosphere, he like, oh, you should do a video. I bet like you can't do a video about being swallowed. You should do a video with that the title. And I'm like, yeah, right. Then I told him, I said, no, I'm here for the challenge. I'm going to do it. So here I is. Here I is. But other than that, everything has been good, is good. I'm still working through my process and still faithful. You know what I'm saying? When you get certain things and you get no's left and right, sometimes you um will either waver in faith or simply lose it. But I don't lose faith. I actually am learning to gain faith in those situations. Take those no's as a no, not that one, not no, period. You know what I'm saying? Um, Finding a home is something that, you have to be safe. You have to be in a place that's not a money pit. I don't want to move nowhere where I have to constantly call on the landlord to do some repairs or whatever the case may be. So, the process is real, but I'm going to say the process is necessary. So, yeah, exactly. No, because there's something better. And that's the way I have to keep moving. But now that I have a reasoning for my no, I can move more strategic. It's not an assumption, it's not a guess, it's not a throw in the sand of what it could be. I know exactly what it is. So that in itself is a blessing. Um, I would encourage anybody, if you're dealing with something and it seems like it's not coming into fruition the way you thought it would, or it's not playing out the way you hoped it would, don't give up, but basically stick to God and make sure that if you need to re-strategize, that you ask God for those strategies, because it's easy to get caught up in doing things your own way and keep bumping your head. So once he reveals certain things to you, then you can move accordingly by choice, instead of just guessing and moving aimlessly. I was trying to wait and see when Gary and Atmosphere is going to pop in here. But I am going to go on and get started because time waits for no one. Ain't that what they say? Ain't that what they say? Again, I hope everybody that is here is doing well. I hope that you have had a great Thursday so far. Matter of fact, I hope y'all had a good Valentine's Day yesterday, especially Atmosphere, who don't celebrate holidays. I hope mm-hmm. I hope his Valentine's Day was wonderful. Little lettuce wrap don't celebrate anything watermelon. But the only way I can really come into this is to literally read the story about Jonah. And we know that is a story that is basically about disobedience. We talk about being disobedient over here all the time. We talk about how we'll get a notion to do something, a word from somebody, or even get that gut feeling we should do something. And say we get the gut feeling first, and then next thing you know, someone else comes to you and say X, Y, and Z, and you're like, oh my God, I felt that's confirmation. But then you don't do it. But then somebody else comes and says the same thing. Now you're like, oh man, I know that's God. Confirmation. Us, we have a bad habit of screaming out confirmation, especially in the sense of church. Confirmation. I see them high fiving, slapping hands in the church. Confirmation, confirmation every week, but they're not moving on what is being confirmed, which now turns into disobedience. How many times does God got to confirm to you this is so before you move on it? How many times is he telling you to stop doing this or don't do this? Or in Jonah's case, go do this. And you didn't. But somebody is constantly, reminding you of what was said, what you're supposed to do, and you're just not doing it. Now we're in disobedience. And I don't think many people realize that. They think that confirmation is, I guess, just God just saying, yeah, that's what I said. Well, he said what he said. Now you got to do what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, you are now in disobedience. So like I said, the only way I can really go into what I want to say and kind of apply it to us is to read this story. And I'm going to read it from the New King James Version. And understand, I am not a Bible scholar. I have the word in my heart. I know Christ and I love him. And I try to be obedient as possible. So therefore, I'm not about to give us a lesson. I'm just gonna give you what I'm led to give you by spirit. So the first part is Jonah 1, for those that want to know, because at some point you're gonna have to go read the rest, because I ain't about to read all three of these chapters. But now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, "Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry out against it, for their wickedness has come up before me." But Jonah arose to flee to Tarshish. These words, from the presence of the Lord. Don't that sound like us a little bit? We be fleeing. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. Man, I should have made these into other words. Like, he went down to Virginia Beach and found a ship going to Norfolk. No. So he paid the fare and went down into it to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. So then there's a storm that comes. And this is directly connected to his blatant disobedience. He heard what the Lord said, he knew what he said, and he knew what he's supposed to do, and he didn't do it. But the Lord sent out a great storm. And you guys know we talked about storms earlier on. He sent out a great wind on the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship was about to be broken up. Then the mariners were afraid, and every man cried out to his God. His God. Listen to that, though. Every man cried out to his God and threw the cargo that was in the ship into the sea to lighten the load. But Jonah had gone down into the lowest part of the ship and laid down and was fast asleep. Ain't that how your friends do you when all hell break loose? They be off somewhere doing what they want to do, and you trying your hardest, and they the one that could have helped and stopped it all, but they down there chilling. So the captain came to him and said to him, "What do you mean, sleeper? Arise, call on your God. Perhaps your God will consider us so that we may not perish." And they said to one another, "Come, let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this trouble has come upon us." So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. Then they said to him, "Please tell us, for whose cause is this trouble upon us? What's your occupation, and where do you come from? What's your country, and what people are you?" So he said to them, "I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." Now, if y'all peep this, in this scripture is saying they all prayed to their God, and none of them was getting what they needed. So they asking this man, "Well, who is your God? Pray to him." And that's kind of like how the world is, if you think about it. Everybody is praying to something or someone, and there's us who know the God of heaven, who know how to get a message to heaven, that will take a nap or go run amok and do what we want to do here, there, and everywhere. And if you think about it, if more of us stood up and did what we're supposed to do as it pertains to God, more would see and believe. But let me continue. Then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, "Why have you done this?" For the men that he fled from the presence of, for the men knew that he fled from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them. Then they said to him, "What shall we do to you that the sea may calm for us?" For the sea was growing more tempestuous. And he said to them, "Pick me up and throw me into the sea. The sea will become calm for you. For I know that this great tempest is because of me." Could that be accountability? Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to return to the land, but they could not, for the sea continued to grow more tempestuous against them. Therefore, they cried out to the Lord and said, "We pray, O Lord, please do not let us perish for this man's life, and do not charge us with innocent blood. For you, O Lord, have done as it is pleased to you." So they picked up Jonah and threw him to the sea, and they ceased the raging. Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly, offered a sacrifice to the Lord, and took vows. Now, at that point, I feel like the men were now understanding who they should have been praying to, and they did what they needed to do, get in proper order. And they also threw that man in that. That's funny to me, but I'm sorry, y'all. They threw that man right in that water, and exactly what he said, what happened, happened. Hey, Gary. Hey, atmosphere. Uh, so in the second verse, Jonah now he prayed to God because he done got swallowed. When they threw him into the water, he was swallowed into a whale that the Lord had prepared to take him in. You know what I'm saying? He could have just let him drown, but he had a plan for him. Next time you decide to go against what I say, it might not be like this. But yeah, he was in the belly of the whale. So he's praying from the inside of the whale. And at the end of his prayer, y'all can go to Jonah 2 and read the prayer. Unless y'all want me to read it. I'll just read it. I cried out to the Lord because of my affliction, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. All your billows and your waves passed over me. Then I said, I have been cast out of your sight, yet I will look again towards your holy temple. The waters surrounded me, even to my soul. The deep closed around me. Weeds were wrapped around me, my head. I went down to the moorings of the mountains. The earth with its bars closed behind me forever. Yet you have brought up my life from the pit, O Lord. When my soul fainted with me, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer went up to you into your holy temple. Those who regard worthless idols forsake their own mercy. Those who regard worthless idols forsake their own mercy. But I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay what I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. It's like he had a check and he remembered. So he came back to, I got to come back to what I set out to do, what I said I would do, what I vowed to do. So the Lord spoke to the fish, and the fish vomited him out onto dry land. Now, for real, y'all got to go read through yourself. I just wanted to get to the point where he vomited him out. Hey, realist. In 3 is when he now gets the word to go into Nineveh and give them a warning before they perish, basically. And then he goes and do what he was supposed to do in the first place. And now he's spared, they're spared, and it's all good. They believe now. So, as it pertains to obedience, if you think about it, how many times has there been something you were specifically to do and you ignored it due to what? Fear, second guessing, which is doubt, or simply because you on social media too much and you got caught up in that reel that be like, find somebody else to do it. How many times have we gone against exactly something that bat signal that we knew that we were supposed to do? We knew that we heard from God. We knew that it's something that we should have done, but for whatever reason, you went against it and you found yourself in disobedience. I think that we all do that. I think we all do it. And I think we've done it multiple times. I think that a lot of people are actively doing it. The time that you take to do what you want to do, you have to be missing things that you're supposed to do. If we're not doing what we're supposed to do, you're either doing nothing or everything you're not supposed to do. I don't know if that was a tongue twister, but I said what I said. Now it's like not everybody, but everything is haywire, going crazy. It's like You got the people that are, so I guess, high and mighty, self-righteous, and they, oh, the devil busy. The devil busy. You got all this stuff going around you. Then you have those that have a storm and they just don't know what to do. In some sense, they'll become swallowed up, But it's like when things start going crazy around you, it seems like everyone that you think is supposed to be there for you seems to like scramble away from you. Every resource that you have seems to be unavailable. Everything or everyone that normally would help you is not there. And like I said, yet and still we're saying, oh my God, the devil on my back, he really trying to take me out. When all the while, it's just not the devil. It is definitely your disobedience. You have people that are above reproach and won't listen to anything, that won't take heed to any warning, that won't listen to a word from someone because they don't look like what they think they should look like. I watched a YouTube this morning, and it was about a a content creator, a kind of huge content creator on here that does a lot of exposing. I do have up my quotations, my air quotations. um, he does a lot of exposing, especially of people in the occupation of ministry in the church or whatever. He does a lot of like just messy type stuff. But here it is. Today there's someone that was definitely close to him, that knows facts about him, that has interacted in some some stuff with him, and now it's basically like his chickens has come to roost. And I thought about yesterday. The reason why I'm talking about this is because yesterday when we were talking about being called and being chosen, what do we think is the difference or whatever. Remember, I was like, I think that the chosen are the ones to say yes, that are willing. And Atmosphere had his perspective and Gary had his. But it took me back to that at the end of his message, after he told all the tea. I'm telling you, 44-minute video. I was in there like, oh my God, what? Yeah. But the craziest thing about it is I've had thoughts about this person, and basically this video just solidified every thought. It wasn't surprising, but what caught me was the end when the man went into a somewhat of warning, almost like how Jonah was supposed to go in Nineveh to warn the people, and he sent out a warning to two particular prophets, and he said, if you stand with this and you do not come forth, you be may you be labeled a false prophet, whatever, his little warnings like that. And he was also giving out a warning to the people that give, hey, Marissa, that give countless and countless of dollars to this man, especially now after he's explained to them, your money is going to the lifestyle of this man, and he takes care of these men in these houses and this and that with your money. This man has raised millions and millions of dollars off the back of God's people, which I don't know why anybody would get caught up with him and think that he was true, but whatever, that's another story. But when he gave the warning, he also openly said that he was openly a homosexual man. The average person would dismiss him due to that one fact. He can't say anything. But I feel like out of all the people that could have, that probably got a a word about this man, that could have exposed this man, it had to be him. At that point, he became one of the chosen, and that's why I was talking about that. Some of us are basically, we're either called and running or ignoring, or we're chosen and we're ignored because we don't look the part, we don't seem the part. But whatever the case may be, um, we know that God is merciful, that He grants us a lot of grace, a lot. Probably way more than we supposed to have, because they say when you know better, you do better. And most of us, we do a little bit better. But some of us don't do nothing different. We just keep going because we think we got time. We think that when they say, oh, His grace is sufficient, that means keep doing what you want to do because you're going to be covered under this grace. But your time will run out. There's a space that you can go into once you done ignored the Lord so much. There's a space you can go into called reprobate. If you look at the actions of some people, um, it makes me wonder, where are you? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to tell me that people that can, let's say, sit on the internet all day, every day, and just beef and gossip, can just be in a good space with the Lord. I feel like a lot of those people are supposed to be doing something other. They have a voice for something else. They have a following to hear something else. But instead, we choose to use it for something else. I think that some people have it misconstrued that, let's say, the people that ain't caring nothing about God, that are out here acting reckless, that they are in need of being exposed. You don't need to expose what is already in the open, front and center. There is no need to expose what is in the open, front and center. At that point, our job isn't to expose those things. Our job is, if we're going to expose something, we're supposed to expose what's right. We're supposed to expose God to these people. If you can't look at what's before you and see what's not right and understand that your job is not to point out what's wrong, but to show them what's right. No, I'm not saying go and hold a hand and say, no, this is how you do it. You display God. You don't display what they display to fix and change. It doesn't happen like that. I know a lot of people think so. But okay, how often or how much can we truly expose after it's right there in our face? We see it. I know a lot of us don't even feel like, uh, what am I thinking? Just know that, once God is over the part of, okay, I done granted you much grace, I done gave you chance after chance. Now He means business. Grace ain't going to have nothing to do with whether it is for you. I mean, it's not going to have anything to do with you, whether it's for you or for somebody else. You have to now make that choice to become obedient. And I believe that most of us don't feel that we're responsible for other people. But y'all know I always say our testimony is not for us, it's for somebody else. And at that point, you are responsible for somebody. You may not know everybody you're responsible for. You probably will never know the people you're responsible for, but it's your actions that will cause them to do different, change. It will be an example that you put forth that will cause them to do something different, to change. It's not our job to go and just be like, hey, you need to do this right. It's our example. Sometimes we are supposed to go and say, hey, XYZ. That's what got Jonah thrown into the belly. He didn't go to them people and say XYZ like God told him to. And the crazy part about it is when everything went crazy, he knew exactly what was going wrong. It's because of me. I fear the Lord. I messed up. Throw me into the water. It'll calm down. It's me. I did it. Most people don't even do that. At least he had, I guess, accountability at that point. He knew he messed up. He knew he wasn't supposed to get on that boat and go down that way, all the way in the other direction of where God told him to go. We have people in the street that will ask us for things and we'll say, oh, get a job. I got to work hard for my money. You can't have it. What's wrong with you? You got on nice shoes. And you know how we do, people. But we'll have what they need, but we won't get them help because we use our eyesight. We don't use our heart to think that maybe God wants you to help this person. Maybe God wants you to hand them a buck and tell them something that He wants you to tell them. But because you don't reach for the buck, you don't get the message that is supposed to go out to that man or woman. How many times have we dropped the ball in that sense? I think that a lot of times we even have people that we see destruction before them. We know they about to take a L, and we'll be getting that urge to say something, but we ignore it. You were the one that was supposed to stop that person or warn that person or tell that person, but you chose not to. It ain't my business. Let me drink my water and mind my business. You pulled out your video camera and recorded it. We see the videos all over. Or you started your YouTube live. Let me tell you about this one. Exposed. Some of us gonna expose ourselves right into the belly, and everybody that you exposing gonna be sitting there looking at you like, damn, what happened? They don't even know you supposed to been helping them out. They don't even know you supposed to been shooting messages across the airwaves that's supposed to help people. God exposes, period. We don't expose. The stuff we doing and exposing, it ain't nothing. It's foolishness we exposing. God know what is in them people's heart. We can never expose those things because we're not God. So while we're not walking in the direction we should be, myself included at times, I do the best I can. I try, and I will say I consciously try harder every day, every chance I get. They say we all fall short. I don't be trying to fall short, but some of us don't care. We just walk the walk and keep walking, la 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 la, doing what we want to do, how we want to do, pointing out what's wrong with everybody else, but never once taking the plank out your own eye. Yeah, they might be crazy, they might be foul, they might be doing the most, but what are you doing? Who told you you were allowed to even point it out before you pulled it out your own eye? A lot of us think we're better than the next because we're not doing the same things as the next. But wrong is wrong in the eyes of God. Wrong is wrong in the eyes of God. And then when someone comes up and start talking about it and they start poking at you and getting in your conscience, what you say? Who sent you? God. That's what they was asking Jonah before they threw him in that water. Man, what who sent you? What happened? Why is this happening to us? Some of the people know what you're supposed to be doing. Now, this is where the devil gets busy. Some of the people see what God has on your life. They know the power that you carry. So therefore, they're taking the opportunity to show everybody that, hey, Bolo Bolo, that you're not willing to operate in the way God wants you to operate. I'm not really concerned about what the next man doing or not doing. My concern is that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as God's woman. And now I don't mean like his woman, like his lover. Y'all know what I mean. Woman of God, man of God, those things. So I guess my question today is, how many of you see trouble ahead and you don't give warning, but instead we react to it, we expose it? versus warn those that are about to fall. How many of us um how many of us have been the direct cause of someone else to fall? I know we don't think we can be, but how many of us have been the direct reason someone took a spill because we saw something they didn't see and we made a conscious decision not to say, hey, you might not want to do that because this could happen. Or better yet, like, listen, I'm telling you, I know this is God. I don't think that, don't do this because XYZ. Some of us get it like that and we ignore it. We move in our own way. We don't move the way God wants us to. Next thing you know, we got people that could have been turned around take a fall. It's true. Some people ain't gonna never change. Some people are reprobate. They're not coming back and they don't really have a chance. But I don't think it's cool for us to, like, I've seen people say, oh, you just gotta pray for these people. I ain't praying for them. I ain't praying for nobody that do XYZ. That person that said we need to pray for them, okay, what if that was God's mouthpiece and you directly said no and you didn't pray? Now that person's downfall or demise, you're carrying it in your hand. I don't think we think that deep into things that we do or don't do. Hey, Selena. I don't think we think that deep into when we say I love God and then our actions go the total opposite of God. I don't think that we understand that we disqualify ourselves when we don't do what may be unthinkable to you. Maybe you don't understand it. Maybe you don't know why. Maybe you don't get it. But you've heard someone else say, God showed me, God told me. Maybe you just didn't understand that that's what you were experiencing. Maybe you didn't know that you were supposed to send out a warning. But the difference in that is Jonah knew. Just like a lot of us know. You know what I mean? I feel like when you know right from wrong, you just know right from wrong. And that's light work right there, knowing right from wrong versus knowing that you should do something for another or for others and you just don't. So the question today is the money question. In the words of the great, have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever done something that found yourself in the belly? They say Jonah stayed in there 3 days and 3 nights. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you couldn't understand why you were stuck? And of course, we ain't been in a whale's belly, but you've been in a place where you were stuck. Wasn't nothing moving right. You couldn't quite figure out what you did, but you figured, I must have did something. I must have took a wrong turn. And it was only when you decided to say, God, help me. Some of us know exactly what we ignored, but it was only that moment when you cried out to God that He freed you, that He released you from that space that you were stuck in. Like I said, we would say the devil's holding us, the devil's keeping us, the devil, devil, devil. It was you. You were swallowed due to your disobedience. How much longer are we going to continue to be swallowed because we're going against who God created us to be? God didn't create us to come on here and destroy other people. That's not godly. And I don't care who you subscribe to, right is right, wrong is wrong. How many of us are directly swallowed up right now because we're stuck in a space that started out as a little fun place? It was a little light, but then you kept going deeper and deeper and darker and darker. How many of us are just stuck due to our ways? Hey, Clean. How many? I know that anybody at this in this chat can honestly say that they've probably been in a space where, you know, you've been swallowed up. I know it's funny to think about it in that sense, but hey, atmosphere requested. So I told him I was gonna come through with the message about being swallowed. And so I'm posing that question to you, just like the good bishop did. Have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever been swallowed up? How about we take today to either avoid being swallowed up and start to do what's right, start to do what we're supposed to do, start to understand that we're not the only one that needs God's grace, but there are people that we're supposed to pour into, pour out for, that also deserve God's grace. We don't get to pick and choose who God gives his grace and mercy to. We are not God. And for some of us, it's time to come out the belly. It's time to go back to God and say, okay, I repent. I'm sorry. I didn't do this right. I need another chance. You have those two things you can do today. The sunken place. I, you can really call it that. You can. But like I said, a lot of people won't. I would say the sunken place would be probably where the reprobate roam. I can't, I don't know. I don't feel anything in the gut that says you can come out of a sunken place. But I know that there are um wilderness and things like that God will put you in, that we will mistaken as, a pit of hell, when it's simply a space that he's placed you in, if not for protection, to get your attention, to cause you to change, to cause you to remember who you are supposed to be, what you are supposed to be doing, to cause you to know that you're not in alignment with his will. We worry about everybody else, but we don't think about our own walk. We don't think about how we look to God when we entertain things that he ain't thinking about, that he ain't in. You stupid. I bet you was focused on the swallowing. Blame atmosphere. But like I said, I'm not here to be holier than thou. I'm just a person that understands and knows that every pit ain't from hell. Some of it is those that we ourselves step into. Every hard time isn't attributed to the enemy. Some hard times are a direct um, cause and effect of things we're doing or not doing. I'm willing to say that most things that we call the work of the enemy is really connected to our personal disobedience. A lot of us are in a pit, a belly, have been swallowed, connected directly to our own disobedience. Many of us in the pit acting a fool. The way to come out the pit ain't to go in there and go harder, go deeper in on what you was doing in the first place to get thrown in there. It's to recognize, wait a minute, I'm in this place, and I guess as Clean said, I'm in this sunken place. This is not who I was. This is not who I am. How did I get here? So maybe that, okay. Remember I said it wasn't nothing in my spirit, but there you go. Maybe you are in a sunken place due to the fact because you lost focus. We can do that. When you lose focus, you get derailed. We always say over here, you stay on the path, you don't pay attention to what's going on the path. You just keep walking on the path. Focus on the path. See you later, Lena. Focus on the path, not what's going on along the way as you're going on your journey. We are all on a journey. Yeah, we get knocked around, but your mission is to stay on your path, not to fall off, not to get away with who you are. Because I don't know if y'all know, but God love us. He don't want us out here failing. Our version of winning in comparison to the winning that God wants for us is stupid. Our winning is having a few things, having a house, renting a house, whatever. He wants us to have, man, if he's the creator of everything and he holds the keys to everything and we are his children, that means he wants us to have everything. But we out here selling it for the things that we think is popping. Just doing the most. When does it end? You know, like I just asked, and yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us have been swallowed at some point. But at some point, you're gonna have to make a decision to actually live out those words when we say, you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. It don't matter what everybody around you doing. If you know better, you do better. What is it? Um, I don't know. I guess we just really believe we have all this time left to live life. Yeah, you got time to live life, but it could be short. You know what I mean? And I don't want us to be found at that ending time to have thought you had so much time left and you never get that opportunity to do the things that you should have done. Heck, I don't want you to miss out on the opportunities that of the things that, not only that God wants you to do, but the things that you want to do. Imagine the things that you want to do are your talents, your gifts, your talents. Your gifts and talents ultimately serve a purpose for people. Why do we um, forfeit our gifts and talents to take a detour for other things? Like I was saying yesterday, I think there's plenty of talented, gifted people here. But somehow, many are just caught in a matrix of some sense. Yeah, you hear that a lot in the matrix, but the matrix I'm talking about is like you stuck. I'm here today to say, come out, man. Unless you just choose to be swallowed up, be swallowed up. But if you don't want to be, and if anything I've said today that caused you to realize maybe I'm in this state that she's speaking of, choose today to come out of it. Allow your gifts to work for you. We don't have to do the most crazy, egregious things to win likes and views and people. You've been blessed with many things inside of you that could grab the attention of people, that could cause people to want to be certain ways or better, or that can cause you wealth because you have something to offer. Some of us sitting on the ability to make sweets out of this world. But instead of cooking, we on here cooking each other. When you could be having a multi-million-dollar business right now, but you can't get up from the computer to go cook some cookies or something, whatever you make. I don't know. We all have been Jonah. We all have been Jonah. We all have been Jonah, Gary. That's why I asked the question: how many of you are or have been swallowed up? How many of you have gone directly against what God told you because you were scared? Because you said, get somebody else to do it. All that good stuff. The little trendy things gonna get us in trouble. There's one thing that's weird to me is like a lot of things that you hear on social media, like the slang and lingo. I don't be seeing young people saying it, but I be seeing people older saying it. I'm like, where did they get this from? Never seen the young people saying, get somebody else to do it. I think that's like a lot of us live our life like that. Psh, I ain't doing that. Get somebody else to do it. It was for you to do. He'll get somebody else to do it, but you still gonna have to pay the consequences of not doing it. We are not exempt from consequences. Maybe right now everything's still good for you, but eventually you're gonna have to face the consequences of your actions. We do not get to run around here willy nilly doing what we want to do, myself included, and think that, oh, it's cool. What do you think? God favors you that much that you can do wrong, but the next person can't? So you're going to say, you know what? These people are this, these people are that. What are you? You might not be as vicious or nasty or vulgar, but are you much different if you're not doing what will please God? And I always say, I'm not saying that some people aren't supposed to, I guess, expose or speak out in certain ways, but some of us are not supposed to. Well, are you in the belly as a result, Gary? Are we I don't know what kind of context you mean that in. You be thinking you're getting in the way in people's way sometimes. I think you're hindering instead of helping. How do you mean by what do you mean by getting in your way, in their way? Maybe that's the part I don't, like I said, I can take that a many ways, but me, I want to be understanding of what you're saying. And if I can, expound on it, I will. Or somebody else might can too. You know how we do. Sharing is caring. But like I said, I am glad the atmosphere was being funny yesterday when I was doing my little Valentine shopping. It said you should do a video and have swallowed up in the title. And I didn't think I was gonna do it this quick, but yeah, I woke up this morning with Jonah on my mind. And I felt like at this point I can't be disobedient. I ain't trying to be swallowed. I'm definitely not trying to be swallowed. But it's something to think about. You know what I mean? As we move about in our everyday, in our actions, am I pleasing God? Have I been here too long? Should I have moved on by now? Is this something that I'm even supposed to entertain? Is this my battle? Is this as a is this something that I'm even called to be involved in? It's a lot of questions we can ask ourselves as it pertains to, our actions, where we go, what we say, people we talk to, things we entertain, things we don't. I feel like in the process of helping, I am hurting, getting in people's way of progress. Um, the way I see what I think I see what you're saying is it's a difference in helping. Is there a difference between disobedient and hard headed? You can be disobedient and then turn around and start being obedient. You can be hard headed and then you can turn around and listen and do what you're supposed to do. He completed the mission only after he What did he do? He got back and submitted to God, and then he repented, and then he was spit out, and he went and did what he's supposed to do. It depends on if you're helping because Gary wants to help or because you should help. You know, some people we aren't supposed to help, even when we do. Now that's another aspect. Sometimes I think we might get swallowed up because we helping when we ain't supposed to. You know how God will tell you, don't touch it, don't say nothing, but we do it anyway. Still disobedience. Even though you're coming from a good place, you feel like you're doing the right thing. There's sometimes where God will tell you, no, don't do that. Because maybe he's been telling that person over and over and over again, and they haven't listened. So now we see it and we're like, man, I just want to help this person. I just want to help this person. That's your heart that wants to help, and that's not a bad thing. But we have to also know when to not insert ourselves. We're not called to help everybody. You know what I mean? Like I tell you all the time, I think we are called to a certain people. And if it's a person that you're not supposed to help, I believe we should know. But I don't think that now if it is somebody you're supposed to help on the other side of that, Gary, if it is someone you're supposed to help and they choose not to hear or listen or take your help or your advice or whatever the case may be, doesn't it tell you to shake the dust off your feet? Do not cast your pearls unto the swine. That those are things that we have to have a high level of discernment to understand that yes, we are for people. We are to help people, but we're not supposed to help every people. Some people are too far gone. Some people it ain't for us to help. We're not equipped to help. I believe our job is simply obedience. Help them or don't help them. But if God said so. Disobedience requires consequences. Hard-headedness requires correction. I think they both require the same thing. You suffer consequences from being hard-headed just like you do being disobedient. I don't think that one would be without the other. I don't think one is for this and one is for that. Let's see what let's find out. How about that? Since I'm on the computer, y'all know I can do a little research in these times like this. I can look some shit up. No, I'm just kidding. The guy that tried to catch the Ark of the Covenant, he thought he was doing. That's what I'm saying. You could think you're doing the right thing and it not be right. And that's why we have to have our relationship with God intact. You know, and I think a lot of us have gotten away from simply that. You know what I mean? We've lost our way for because we'll go through hell over and over again before we remember to consult and get back to God. Like they say, he'll never leave you nor forsake you, but we leave him all the time. I believe he might not follow you, but he always there. It's for us to come back to him. Back to him. Hard head. Consequences come with right. Hmm. Wanting the best. Well, I mean, Gary, it's like it's almost like guard your heart. You can't be everything for everybody, and sometimes you become a casualty from caring too much. Yeah, I'm supposed to help this person, but you're not supposed to break your back doing it, especially if they're not receiving of it. You know, so I think that we get in our own way when we're that way. And I don't think that's a bad flaw, but no is a complete sentence. And sometimes you just can't help people, even as bad as you want to. Because how do they then, like you say, you're hindering their progress because there's a lesson in it for them as well. Maybe they got to go in the belly, but you're trying to pull them out the mouth. Do, 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 do. Let us see. Mm, 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 mm. Being hard headed is not taking good advice. Disobedience is breaking the rule. Now. Okay. Well, is it not disobedience not to take good advice? Hey, Clark. Thank you. I think this is your first time. Appreciate you for popping in. Okay, so like, for instance, a synonym for disobedience. This is the first one that popped out to me was stubbornness. Is being hard headed, being stubborn. I mean, it's one of them things where it's so close. For real, for real. Like for stubbornness, bullheadedness is a synonym, which is also a synonym for hard headedness. So I don't think that either of us is wrong because you can be disobedient as a result of not taking good advice. Maybe maybe you think you're giving advice, but what if that advice is something that God wants that person to have? And if that person doesn't take heed to that advice, then they are still in direct disobedience. They just didn't like you giving them the advice. They killed the messenger. They didn't take the message. Gary, I don't think you've ever offended anyone in your life. I can't see it. Not over here anyway. You help us, man. I mean, really. But I'm gonna let you. If Gary might be feeling like he coming out the belly, let me move myself out the way. I repent for that. You know, we don't know another man's conviction, so I can't even speak on that, and that's from his heart. So okay, so you're talking about carnal things, worldly things. So maybe we got to look at it also from that aspect. Is it spiritual? Is it of God or is it something that's worldly? Is it carnal? Or is it, you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think that we're wrong. You or I, in that aspect. Shoot. How you know God, how you know Biz ain't God's voice. His mouthpiece, I mean. And he's telling the people don't do it. And you still went against it. You would have to know that he ain't a vessel speaking for God. You don't know. But yeah, being disobedient is being hard headed. I'm sorry. When you disobey your mama, you went against something she told you to do, and you got your butt beat. When you were hard headed, you went against something your mama told you to do or not do. You got your butt beat. You was hard headed. I don't see the difference, but I understand and I see your perspective, but I still don't think we're saying anything different. I think that the only difference would be is a spiritual aspect versus a worldly aspect. I'm just saying, who are I to tell you you've done nothing? You might did. I don't know. You haven't to me, but I can't just assume that that hasn't happened to someone else, you know? But I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a good day for us today, to really think about our own actions, if you are a believer of Christ, you have to think about your own salvation. No one else can do it for you. It is our own cross. We each have a cross to bear. Am I doing well with this or am I not? I think we were saying it yesterday. I would like to have been doing well. I don't want to be on the other side of, you know? I really don't want to be on the other side of things. Not on purpose. And a lot of people about to end up on the other side of things basically on purpose because they've traded in what they're supposed to do with what they want to do. It's about to be a lot of people swallowed up merely for the reasoning of doing their own thing. And I'm not saying I can't either. I'm looking on I'm on my phone. I see you guys in um I guess I'm seeing y'all in what you call it. If y'all can hear me, everybody tap a one in the chat. Because I don't know why it's not. I don't see it on the YouTube. I'm watching. I came in on YouTube because I wanted to see something. I see you, atmosphere. Can you see me, atmosphere? Okay, everybody hear me. I don't know why the chat stopped going. Like when I went, I can see you guys on StreamYard, but when I clicked on to YouTube, can you see atmosphere saying something? Okay, I see Gary and I see atmosphere. I see clean. I see y'all now in the chat. Can you see the chat now, Gary? I don't know. That was strange. Can y'all see each other? That's the question. Can y'all see each other in the chat? I'm seeing y'all pop up on YouTube now, but I'm not. That's crazy. Yeah, me either. Not on YouTube, but I can see it. I can see it in, like, I can't see Selena. I can see all those people in StreamYard, but I can't see nobody on Facebook. Like you said, the prior conversation. And I did it as well. So I don't know what happened. Because I wanted to chat. Yep, can't see the I can't see it either, Gary. So you're not tripping. I can't see the prior um on YouTube, but I can definitely see it on StreamYard. That was crazy. But yeah, I think it's just something to think about. Like, where are we at personally? What path are we on? What path do we want to be on? How do we want to be seen? Most people say I don't care, but you should. And I'm not saying to a sense of you get destroyed because someone don't like you. I think that we all should want to be seen as a good reflection. I think we should all want to be seen as a good reflection. And I'm salty I can't see that chat. But anywho, I think I've come to the end of my words, and you guys know once that happens, I can't speak anymore on the belly, the swallowing, the disobedience. I mean, not as it pertains to anything I've said before this point. That message came to its end, and I do not go past what I feel led to say. Ever. He'll have to give me something else, or we have to have a conversation, and we're conversing with each other. But I won't go beyond the scope of what I feel was supposed to be said today. Yeah, I mean, oh my god, do y'all hear my messages going off? That's spooky. What? Is that the real name of it? I will, Gary. Is that the real? Because I know the first part of it, he'd be like, "Come out the closet." So I don't know. I don't never watch, so I can't tell you. I really don't. Thank you, Gary. I'm definitely, I'm gonna check it out, buddy. Daddy, I see the wood. What? Quit playing. Let me look this up right now. Oh my god. And that was, oh, thank God that was 10 months ago. I would have. I would have. Oh, Father. Forgive me. But that's kind of funny. Just the title in itself is, yeah. Why you had to tell me that? I thought you was telling a story. I thought you was being silly. I did. So y'all, I didn't do anything for yesterday. I might skim through it. I didn't do anything yesterday. I gave my girl her gift. She was excited. Okay. She's excited about her date Friday with me. I asked her if she wanted to invite her daddy. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, do you want to invite your daddy with us on our Valentine's date? Or she was like, well, I thought it was just gonna be us girls. Oh my god. I know he was there not too long ago. It might have been atmosphere. Yeah. I think the only thing now is like I forgot it was two other kids in the house. I could have got them a little something, but I'll bring them something Friday when we leave, then they can have their stuff by themselves. Can't y'all tell I'm just such a mama? Yeah, but like I said yesterday, it's time for some of us to start talking up. You might not want to, you might not feel you're supposed to, you might not feel like you're equipped or worthy, but it's gonna be times where God give you stuff in your heart and you're not gonna understand it, but you're gonna feel a strong urge that you have to say it. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm a prophet. I mean, because the prophets ain't even doing right out here. It's gonna be a time where many of us gonna have something that we have to say. You cannot afford to be swallowed. You can't afford not to say it. It may be unpopular. They may not like it, but you gotta say it. That's the whole gist of my page. Press play and talk. For the most part, I feel like I know I'm commanded to press play and talk. Yes, we have fun. Yes, we have conversations where sometimes I do just randomly, come on and have a conversation. But I know those moments where I have to press play and say something. I have gotten myself away from that thing that tells you, oh, everybody's going to think this way. Everybody, I really don't care. I really don't care. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but there are things that I will do and won't do, and there's things that I'll always do. And one thing I'll always do is try to do the right thing, no matter what. No matter what. Um, like I said, my content or stories or whatever the case may be are never specifically about well, at least I haven't gotten anything that I feel like is a direct message to YouTube. I speak to YouTube, yes, for the simple fact I'm on YouTube. Nothing personal. I speak to YouTube for the simple fact I'm on YouTube. I'm not going to be on YouTube talking to Facebook, and I'm not going to be on Facebook talking to YouTube. We all can make observations in the day, and my thing is, I wish everybody the best. I wish everybody could understand the the beauty of having gifts and talents and actually presenting them, utilizing them, and causing doors to open because of them. A lot of times we'll be wondering, when is it my turn? When is it my turn? But we're not utilizing our gifts. It says your gifts will make room for you. If we're not using our gifts, if we're not presenting our gifts, how is that room made for you? Atmosphere. I told my dude about you telling me I should do that. And I had told him about the first one with that mouth do. And he was like, man, I would have been like, I was like, did nobody tell nobody to come in there thinking dirty? Oh, nasty folk. Oh, nasty folk. Yeah, but our gifts are amazing. You know what I mean? Like, some of us have a talent and probably never even thought about, have you ever met a person that has a massive gift or talent in um let's say doing t-shirts. It could be anything, but we're going to use doing t-shirts as an example. But the only thing they do with their equipment is make t-shirts for themselves and their kids or something, so when they go out they can have matching shirts. Oh, I just do this for fun. Anybody know any I just do this for fun people? You're sitting on possibly millions of dollars because yeah, everybody can make a t-shirt, but what if within your gift, there's something about your shirts that's going to reach the masses, and you're going to sell shirts unlike others in amounts that others can't even understand, in amounts that you can't even understand, because that gift simply made room for you. So if you are a person who makes t-shirts, stop making them for just yourself. Make them and sell them. Look into the wholesale of shirts and the things that you need to be equipped and stocked in order to make the shirts. There's plenty of people that will are looking for, especially black owned. A lot of black owned people that do certain businesses. I find that it's hard to get reliable people. Maybe that's your gift. Yeah, you got this talent of making shirts, but your gift is your reliability, your ability to do these things and have a great turnaround and have a great quality of product. It's time for us to start picking up those things and doing it. Blessings don't fall out the sky, but I believe we have many in our hand. I got a lot of blessings in my hand that I just it frustrates me because here I am at the end of another season and I didn't sell none of these clothes I got. Good thing they're timeless as far as the fashion. Cause I'm gonna sell them clothes. But now that I understand that, not that I didn't before, but I can say I failed this time because I myself I transitioned in this time. And during the transition, it's hard for me to focus on business and promote and all these things. So I can't say I failed. I can say I didn't have favorable conditions. But that don't mean that it don't get that way. So therefore, this next season coming up, I'm gonna be ready because I'm gonna be more stable in my situation. It's like you understand what you have. Maybe it didn't work. You understand why it goes wrong. You're accountable for that thing. Now going forward, it should be win-win. There's something that some people stop doing because they felt like it wasn't working. Try again. Review yourself. See where you fell off. Were you not promoting it right? Did you not present it right? Did you give up too quick? Did you miss this audience over here? Do it again. I was talking about the sweets earlier. Somebody on here that makes sweets, hella cookies, delicious cakes, those Sundays in a jar, whatever they call it. Put a name on your business. Get your LLC and do it. It's somebody that has books besides Gary. It's somebody that has a book. Some of you got a whole transcript already and have not published it. Some of you are working on that book and you're almost finished and you put it down months ago and you got about 3 chapters left. Some of you got the whole book complete and don't know your next step. Research, find out how to publish a book, finish the book, publish the book, get it out, sell it. Your story in that book is for somebody. We have to stop dropping our somebodies. We have to understand that we are valuable in this world. We are here for a reason, and it's not to fight each other. If you want to just continue to fight each other, be my guest. I've said what I said multiple times. At the end of the day, we all do have free will, and I am not God, so I can't do anything about it. I can only express or share, something I think might trigger you to turn around or do something you thought about doing that you haven't been doing. I can only try to be the best example I can be, a reminder, in a sense, of certain things. So, that being said, I hope that everybody just begins to, if it's nothing else but to think, what do I have in my hand? Think about what you got in your hand and start to be a producer. Stop consuming so much negativity. Stop consuming things that are not here to build you, but to tear you down. Stop consuming things that bring no value, that don't add to your life. Be a producer. Be a producer of the things that you want to see. Be a producer of the things that you want to have the ability of availability to, that you might not see it around you. Produce what you don't see that you know is a needed that is needed. Produce what you don't see that you know is needed. Whatever you have, be a producer. We talked about that the other day. Y'all can find it back there. Being a producer, a consumer versus a producer. Yes, we are all a consumer at some point in time, but there are moments when we're supposed to produce a thing versus consume something, because the things we consume could be bad for our health, could be bad for our spirit, for our soul. So we want to make sure that we're always operating as a producer and we're careful as to what we consume. Yeah, I think that is the end of the second burst. I think it is, but I definitely have enjoyed having a conversation with you guys, and I do appreciate atmosphere for the challenge. And I will say this, atmosphere, it put me back into the space of how I did things when I was doing my women's group at church. I really went into the word, found something that went with what we were talking about, because it could have been something else I used in there that pertained to swallow, but immediately I knew what I had to do with that. But I actually wrote things down, and I made sure that I had something to present. So I appreciate you, kicking me back into that. A little more structure, I would say. A little more structure on today. But I'm glad that we had this time together. Yeah, I ain't even sing for y'all today. I ain't had no song drop in my spirit. Get these shackles off my feet so I can dance. I'm gonna praise him. I'm gonna praise him. Y'all better take them shackles off and quit operating in the with the wicked people. Hey, Dante Roberts, how you doing? Hi. Hey. Anywho, as I was saying, as always, I appreciate everybody for showing up today for my meek talk. Um, Hopefully, I said something today that encouraged you, that inspired you, that caused you to have a different perspective. And if there wasn't something in it that you could use, maybe someone else that could use it. And we all say over here that caring is sharing. As always, you are more than welcome to hit the Cash App. My chime is the same thing as the Cash App, her meekness, but of course it's at. But that is not the most important thing over here. The most important thing over here is to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, bring a friend. And on this good Thursday, I bid you people farewell. As I'm about to go get my day started, because I've done absolutely nothing. And again, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, which I don't know when that time will come, I will see you all later. And oh, yeah, everybody in the bushes, hit the like button if you haven't. I appreciate you guys as well. Hopefully, you enjoyed the broadcast. I appreciate you guys. And y'all know how I am about these numbers. I am a stickler. How many seconds do we have to get to an hour and a half? Lesson of the day: don't be swallowed. If you in the belly, we over here are calling you to come out. Come out of the belly and do what's right. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Share your gifts with the world. The world will be better because of you if you do. I promise you. And yes, you should care about the world. Well, not become a part of it, but you should care about the people, because some people just don't know yet until you tell them. Yep, that's how it happens. Some people are just unaware.
They call them lost. They call them lost. So until next time, bye bye now.